Happy Monday. Welcome back to another episode of Mommy and Me Mondays. You already know how we do it each and every week, bringing you this raw, organic, unfiltered conversations between a mother and daughter, but multi-generational, where we keep it real, we keep it a buck, and you know we always gonna keep it 100 with y'all and with each other. But anyways, if you have not done so, make sure you have subscribed to my channel and you never miss a Mommy and Me Monday. Make sure you like and comment and share all of these videos. Let us know which conversation is your favorite below. If there are any topics that you want us to discuss, drop them below. Any questions that you want to know, we want to answer them and we want to cover it all. So we're going to get right into today's, oh yeah. And if you don't know, I'm Brii Renee, straight from the A.
And I'm the original Miss Renee from the A.
She got to find, you know what? She's so unoriginal. She got to use my tag. She can't find her own.
But I'm the original Miss Renee. Without me, there'd be no you.
For you to be so original, you unoriginal.
Okay.
Okay, but anyways. Today, I wanted to talk to you. This is actually, somebody commented under one of the posts and was like, I want to know what y'all think about this, or y'all talk about this topic, and I don't think we ever really covered it. But I wanted to have a conversation today about religion in so many different aspects. First, I was just thinking, like, what do you think about, do you feel like you subscribe to one specific religion? You know, some people like, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, or I have a relationship, or I don't subscribe to one name or title or group.
Well, traditionally, I was raised as Christian, so I would have to say Christianity would be my foundation. But since I've grown and over the years, I don't necessarily identify with the traditional Christianity type religion. I'm more into my relationship and my spirituality with God, because I've grown and to know over the years, a lot of Christians are hypocrites. You know, being in that traditional Christian church, I've had preachers to stand up and talk about, homosexuality is a sin and it's abomination and it's going to God. And I'm sitting there in the church and one of the biggest donors, he's high-fiving me, praising me, and talking about how I'm such a good servant of the Lord and all of this stuff. But yet he's bashing me on the other end. So I've kind of shied away from that. I think a lot of preachers, and it's been my experience, and they can, I can get bashed for this. They can say what they want to say, but most of them that do the bashing are fighting their own sexuality.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've seen that in Atlanta with a lot of the mega church pastors, Bishop Eddie Long preached about homosexuality for so long, and then come to find out that he was messing with little boys.
Yeah, those were the allegations. Now we don't know the truth, so we have to be careful.
Well, he allegedly was playing with little boy boot holes.
So it's let me just say, I wasn't a member of that church, but also a member of a very larger congregation, where the preachers will get in church and they will say what they want to say, and you got a lot of older people in the church that they follow that same ideology. And it's not necessarily true. It's not right, and I chose to get away from that. So now I worship at a place, a church where, and then let me go back to say something else. When I was a member of this much larger church, and I've always believed in paying my tithes and doing what I'm supposed to do and serving and things of that nature, and then you listen to him bash you on one end, not knowing your personal relationships and what you're dealing with. And to hear him say that, so it kind of creates a conflict there in some sense. But I've grown to know and grown to be accepted into other congregations. Now, what's interesting is that, they say what they want to say because they're trying to get the people to give so they can maintain certain lifestyles, or as they say, do certain works for the Lord. So it's very same pastors, that didn't feel it enough to pick up the phone sometimes and reach out to you, me personally, when I'm going through something, or, when family members pass and things of that nature. But those are the very same ones that
want your money.
Want my money. So I attend a church now that I really like the pastor. He knows, my sexuality, and not that I really care. I don't attend a church that, that's, I guess they call them maybe more open gay churches. I don't attend those, but not just because I found one that I like. I like his teaching. I like his preaching. And I like him as an individual. So he calls from time to time. He checks on me, I'm not one of those that go to church every Sunday because, I've got a lot of things going on in my life. But I'm in a good place religiously. I'm more spiritual than I have been, and that has a lot to do with where I'm worshiping and the acceptance and everything. And I just choose to not go to those.
You know what I learned yesterday though? That you can be, and that's kind of why I want to talk about this topic, because I think that I have been taught religion all wrong, or
I think we all were.
Yeah, but like I thought, like they always preach being a good person in church. And I literally almost busted into tears yesterday because I felt like my whole life had been a lie, because I have friends like Megan, shout out to Megan Ashley from the Know For Sure pod, who's super deep into the word and knows the scripture and went to theology school, or the school where like she went to
theology.
Yeah, for being a pastor. So she knows the word. And she was telling me how being a good person does not mean you get into heaven. You have to know God. You have to know. She said one of her favorite scriptures is like where Jesus is saying, you did all these works, you healed these people, you did all this, but I know you not. Like, but you don't have a relationship with me, so you can't come.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I thought this whole time by me being a good person, I would get into heaven, when it's really like, if you don't have that relationship with God, or if he don't know you,
Absolutely.
If you haven't built a rapport, if y'all haven't built a relationship, if y'all haven't built like some type of substantial foundation, then you still don't get into heaven, even if you've been a good person.
Right. Getting into heaven, and I can't tell you, and nobody else can tell you what that looks like, because nobody's been to heaven.
Because we all down here.
Yeah, nobody's been to heaven.
How you know?
Nobody's been to heaven and came back and said, hey, I got to heaven and this is what I did, So we have to use the Bible as our roadmap, so to speak, okay? Mm-hmm. It's our foundation, things that we learn and we live by, and there are lessons in that Bible. And so getting into heaven has a lot to do with your faith, your relationship with God. You see, sometimes you have to get in that still place, and you just got to have a conversation with Him. And no matter what you do, you got to get to some points in your life where no matter what you do, you can't do it without having that faith in Him, and having had that conversation with Him, and having talked with Him, and having stood fast and allow Him to move and work things out in your life, and having that unwavering faith, and that trials and tribulations allow you to build that faith in God. And then as your relationship begins to grow, and you begin to have these conversations, you begin to sit back and be quiet and listen to His word, and listen to Him talk to you, and listen to Him move things. And all of a sudden you find yourself one day going, okay, God, that's why you did that. I didn't understand it, didn't see it, didn't know it. I tell you about a situation one time back in 2023 that was during a spring break.
Back in 2023?
No, 2003. It was during your spring break. We were getting ready to go to Disney World. And we were leaving that Sunday, but that Saturday morning I got up and I was taking your uncle we were moving some things to his apartment. Coming back on 285, right before the La Vista, there was a young lady who had a wreck. Long story short, I stopped to help her out, ended up getting very badly injured myself. And so while I'm laying in the ditch, and I see the young lady's car going into my truck, and I begin to pray immediately. I begin to say, Lord God, please don't let me die out here. I got a baby at home. I've got things, don't let. And I'm talking to the Lord, and the Spirit came back over me and says, you're not going to die. You are a tither. And I'm saying to myself, and I'm talking to the Spirit in my head, and I'm saying, surely God saves more than tither. They said, no, not that you're a tither, but you have a relationship. You got a special relationship with God, Shirley. You're not going to die. And instantly, I was calm. I wasn't frantic anymore about the accident, my injuries. Okay, I was messed up bad, but nobody lost their life that day. I was able to pull through, and I began to heal from that. But it's those moments that you have for some reason.
An encounter with God.
Yeah, and he comes to you and he talks to you and the Spirit talks to you. You know it's his word because things change, you know.
I think I'm still waiting to have that encounter.
You probably have already had that encounter and then recognize what it was. All it takes you to do is get on your knees from time to time and talk, even when you're laying in your bed in the midnight hour, you know, and nobody is around.
Well, I think I'm at that space where I be trying to figure out, is this, like, I hear people talk about the Holy Spirit guiding them and them hearing God. Sometimes I think I heard God, but then I be confused on, was that God or was that me?
Well,
I don't know the difference between hearing my thoughts and God's thoughts.
the maturity comes when you're able to sit back and look and see, because you've heard that saying that all things work for the good of them who love the Lord, right? So when you're in that moment of indecisiveness, you have to be able to just sit back and you have to evaluate the entire situation. And even things that you've gone through, you sit back and you evaluate the outcome, and then you see how it worked out for your good, or it didn't work out. And the reason it didn't work out is because it was still for your good. So you have to know that God is moving.
I see how God moves in my life.
Yeah.
I can for sure say, like you said, thank God you didn't give me what I thought I wanted.
Right.
Thank God you did tell me no, and it hurt my feelings, but it made room for this. I see how God works and orchestrates everything together. But just because somebody, like, it's like a parent. I feel like I'm in that space where I know my mama taking care of everything and doing it for me, but I don't necessarily hear her guiding, like, you know what I'm saying, in my head. Like, I want to hear him as loudly and as clearly and distinctive. Like you just said, I knew, like you had that encounter with him when you were laying there and you felt it and you knew that was God saying, because you were tighter. Because, like, I want to be like God and he say, huh? Like, I want to hear him talk back to me. How come he talk to everybody else like that? I want to hear him loud.
He talks to you and he talks to you loud.
But I want to hear him loud before, you know how they be like, okay, sometimes you got to go through something, whether it's something small and he whispers. They say his voice is still and small sometimes.
You hear him, you just don't know it's him. You think it is you and it's not you.
I want to know it's him.
Well, you know it's him because at the end of the day, when it all works out for your good, you know it wasn't your doing. It wasn't your decision. You see, when God moves things and open doors for you and puts you in the right places and think that's him moving. That's not you. You thinking that you down here on earth and you're making all these things happen and you do. It's not you.
But they say God give you free will. So what if that's him letting me exercise my free will and he just makes sure things work out in my favor?
I think that you were putting yourself in
I want God to come down and talk to me and tell me what the plan is. I can't execute the plan that I don't know what it is, and I understand some parts.
What you have to do is
I'm not supposed to know.
Ask God to give you the discernment and the direction.
Yeah.
And just leave it up to him to guide you. You want him to come down and give you a roadmap, put it on black and white. It doesn't work.
I blame that on you.
Why?
That's your fault.
Why?
Because
How?
Growing up, I feel like you always was like, go to school, you're going to get good grades, you're going to be this type of person, and you're going to go to college. Okay, so that was the plan. So I never had to think about, well, what am I doing in my life, or what I'm supposed to be doing, or where am I supposed to be going? Like, do I get a job? Do I not? Like, I knew the plan. So it's like, once you stop giving me the plan, it's like I'm a fish out of water. Like, well, what the hell do I do now? And it's like, yeah, I'm letting faith lead me, but faith need to come up with some instructions. There's no blueprint to this.
No, there's no blueprint to life, baby.
But if I want to live my life how God, if I want things to be in God's will,
then guess what?
What is your will?
Then guess what you do? You pray to God for his direction. And you ask God to, if it's not his will, then let it not be done. But if it's his will, allow it to be done.
Yeah.
So then he will guide you in the direction. If it works out, then you've prayed for that direction. And you know that's his will. If it doesn't work out, you also pray for it not to work out because that was in your best interest and his will as well. So you've got to be able to know that when you pray to God for certain things and direction, and you've got to leave it there and know that he's going to send you what it is that you desire. And you have faith. And it may be difficult. Whatever it is you're praying for, whatever, direction you're asking him to take you in, it may be very, very difficult, but you also have to be willing to accept whatever the outcome in his will is, and know that as long as you trust in God, have faith in God, believe in yourself, but have faith in God that it's going to work out for your good. Everything that you desire in life, you pray for, no matter what it is. It can be the smallest of things to the very largest of things. And I say, there's no limit. And this is what you got to understand. There's no limit to what God can do. There is no limit to what God, you pray, you believe, and you trust, and you stand on that faith that whatever it is for you in your life, that God can deliver.
Do you think that, or have you ever had thoughts about whether you were going to heaven or hell or not because of your sexuality?
If I were to believe the people and the old pastors and the old brimstone and fire pastor, the way they preached, I thought, yes, early on, that I was going to go to hell. I really did. I really thought when I was very, very young, I was going to go to hell.
So you felt like just fuck it.
No, and not
ball till we fall.
No,
like if I'm gonna go out with a bang. Then
no. I got away from all of that negative teaching, and I began to realize, well, hold up, wait a minute. Sexuality, those concerns and issues were carrying in the Bible way before I was born. So they didn't go to hell. At least the Bible doesn't say they went to hell. So why am I going to be condemned now? So
because it's about that relationship still. And I think that Jesus, I don't believe that homosexuality is a sin. I don't subscribe to that. I don't know what scripture. It's not one of the 10 commandments. I don't know
in the Bible.
I don't know where it say that. People be swearing that. But even if it was a sin, it's no greater than stealing or lying or adultery and we all done had sex before marriage. I done stole something from the store before. You know what I'm saying? Long time ago as a kid. So I'm like, we all have committed sin. So if Jesus died on the cross for our sins and it's about me building a relationship with him, then if he could forgive that, then he could forgive anything. And I don't think that like why would God make people gay if he was going to condemn them? It's a whole, and yes, some people aren't born gay. Some people experiment and are fluid or whatever, but it's a lot of people. Like I know this prominent gay male in the industry in Atlanta, and I heard him say, somebody asked him like, are you afraid to go to hell? And he was like, well, if I go to hell, then God played a cruel trick on me, because he was like, I've never liked women. Like he was like, the moment I felt anything, like even when kids would be humping in the closet or whatever, he was like, I never wanted to do that with a girl. I always was attracted to men. So he was like, why would God genuinely make me this way if he's going to punish me for being this way?
Right. So I don't believe I'm going to hell. I think God, their instructions about our works. We are judged by our faith, our works, and
our relationship
with him. Those are the things that they will determine. And my belief, like I said, I ain't never been to heaven or hell, so I can't tell you. And I doubt if anybody out there can tell you otherwise.
What if this is hell?
And baby, it very well may be.
Because as stressed out as I be, this got to be hell. It can't get no worse than this. All these goddamn bills and shit. This is hell. I think we living in hell right now, and then we go to heaven if you be good. And if you not, you just stuck here. That's them old people who just won't die. You in hell right now. You stuck here.
I don't know that to be the case, but I will say,
all this food that's killing us and bombs and babies dying, like this, it can't get no worse than this.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, we were taught to believe that hell was that place where, you're going to be thrown in the fire for the rest of. I don't know. Never been there. Don't know, anything about hell.
What if hell is like you stuck in a straitjacket and you got to watch or listen to some music that you hate? Like listening to a song. Like how I hate all that loud ass noise? What if that's hell while I'm strapped down and I got to hear all that loud ass ruckus?
I don't know.
Or would it just work your and crying babies and shit?
I don't know. I don't know if that's hell or not. That may be hell for you.
Because they say God got a sense of humor, so he going to torture you with something that you hate. Or like, I hate the smell of real milk. It's just going to be, I'm in a pool of milk. Oh, my God.
I don't think that's, I don't know. I don't think that's hell, but that may be hell.
And nails going across the chalkboard in a pool of milk. Oh, my God. That's literally hell.
Okay.
But do you feel like, so now that you don't fully subscribe, like you said, you go to church, you was raised Christian, some people be feeling like other religions are going to hell. Like if you, some Christians feel like, oh, Muslims going to hell, or
those people hadn't woke up. They're still in some bliss, you know? Because at the end of the day, God loves us all. He created us all. Those religions are different. They're just different, in my opinion. They're just different opinions of other relationships, how they communicate with God. You know, who is God? To me, I think we've lost sight of the fact that we all acknowledge that there is a superior being at the end of the day.
It's greater than us.
That's greater than us. That we all acknowledge that. And how we get to that point, those are the traveling that we do in all of these other relationships and these religions, you know?
I don't feel like other religions going to hell. I always thought like it's just different sections of heaven. So like,
you think we'll all go to heaven and all the Muslims will be here, the Christians will be here?
Well, like, I'm going to be in VIP.
You're going to be in VIP?
I'm going to be in VIP in heaven because, first of all, everywhere I go on VIP. But I got a relationship with Jesus. Okay. So if I know, so God own heaven, and then I'm cool with his son, which is Jesus, of course, he going to look out for me. Okay. But, like, maybe Allah and the other people, they cool with God, too, but they ain't VIP. So you just going to be in general pop. Okay. Of heaven. And I'm behind the rope. Okay. All right. That's in my mind. Okay. But I ain't never been there. But that's cool. So I don't treat people like, oh, you're a Buddhist, you're going to hell. No, I feel like, no, you just gonna be in general pop. I'm going over here to VIP. I'm gonna see if I can get you a wristband, but I don't know if they're gonna let you in because you ain't really know Jesus like that.
Well, that's you. Hey, baby, if that works for you and that's that's how you played it out in your mind, so be it. Nobody can take that away from you. And you look, you're entitled to think that way.
I just don't want to get up there and God be like, you thought you did all that shit, and guess what? You about to go down there in the bath of milk and hit them nails. It's like, what? I'm going to be pissed. That's how I felt yesterday when everybody was telling me that you don't get into heaven just for being a good person. It's like, well, where have I been holding these doors for these old ladies for and kissing babies and shaking hands? I did all this shit, and this is not going to get me nowhere?
No, that's not true. It's going to get you somewhere. You know, we're taught that, you know, faith without works is dead. So you got to have faith along with your works. So you keep working. You just continue to increase your faith, and you'll be okay. I feel pretty confident. He'll, you know, when you go to knock on the door, you go to knock on heaven's door, he'll let you in. You just gotta,
Jesus, don't be like that now. You know we cool, we go back. I done did all them He Has Risen poems, and you finna close the door on me. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be like, see, this is a scam.
No, I think he'll open the door.
And he gonna be like, you gotta go right back to heaven.
No.
I mean, right back to the earth,
no,
where it's hell.
I think he will open the door for you. You just gotta increase your faith. You just gotta increase your faith. And that's something that
I don't know, man. We don't never got the answer. And I just feel like that's kind of cruel too. Like, why would you send us down here to take these tests without no syllabus?
Well,
but I guess that's what the Bible is supposed to be. And that's why I'm really trying to do better about like reading the Bible and understanding the Bible. But it's just written in like Shakespeare. So I can't really, it'd be like, thy if thou knoweth. And it's like, who is thy? Like, say Sarah. If you're talking about Sarah spoke to Jesus and Jesus said this. But
you got to change your versions. You got to change the version. With King James version. But
then all the versions be saying, it's just so, it's really confusing when you dig and try to learn and have,
let me tell you something. I think all young people go through that. I went through that.
Like, what is the truth?
Yeah, trying to figure it out. And what I'm going to tell you is just step back. Don't allow it to overload you. Take it one step at a time. Try to digest a little bit at a time and just keep building on that. But the most important thing is to understand that you have to act, you answer to a higher power. There is a spiritual connection between you and God. You continue to work on that spiritual connection. You continue to pray, and you continue to build your faith. You know, that's what you do. Don't try to figure it all out. Don't try, because if not, you become one of them religious fanatics,
Yeah.
one of
Well, I don't want to learn more to be holier than thou or shun other people.
right.
I want to learn more because I want to build my relationship. And like I said, I want to do things. And maybe there is no right or wrong way, but I think I want to live like the right way. So like, I'm a person like, just tell me what it is and I can do that. But when it's so open-ended, and I think that's what Christianity, that's what frustrates me a little bit about Christianity. Christianity has so many open questions versus other religions have like definite answers to everything. So they're more digestible. They're easier to understand. And I think because the only religion that incorporates faith, which is Christianity, where it's like, okay, some things with God you not gonna understand or know or have answers to. That's hard for my human brain to fully comprehend and digest.
Then you have to know that you're not going to understand every single thing.
Yeah.
And you have to accept that and move on. So you're one of those kids that, well, why? But that's not what X, Y, and Z. It's not.
And that because you told me so or because I said so ain't never worked for me.
Right. But so some things you got to just accept, know that there's a reason for it, and you move on. Don't let it keep you stuck right there in that one spot.
Yeah. Because if I get to heaven and ain't none of my gay friends there, that's going to be, first of all, heaven is not going to be decorated cute. The fashion is going to suck. The hair and makeup is not going to be hitting. Because there ain't no gay people in heaven.
You won't know them nowhere, baby. Trust me. By the time you get to heaven, you won't know them nowhere.
You think when you get to heaven, you don't think you know them people?
I don't know. I've never been there.
But what you think, though?
I think that when you get to heaven, it's no longer a life. Your spirit is there. Nothing that you know is the same as it is on earth. I think it's just a spiritual.
So what you think we wearing?
We're just wearing a body, a temple. This is just flesh. It's gonna go away. Our bodies are not gonna be the same.
When I get to heaven, God, can my body be at the weight that I like, my goal weight of 165? I ain't never been that on earth. But if it's heaven, I feel like I can have it exactly how I want it to be.
And for what? When you get to heaven,
I want to be 165 so my wings don't got so much shit to carry.
He'll have wings big enough for you to carry.
What if
your wings? Look, you don't have to worry about your wings when you get to heaven.
What if your wings get upgraded, like based off the type of angel you is? Like when you first get there, you get them baby wings. You can't really fly like that. And then the longer you be in heaven, the more angel blessings you pass out on earth, then you get bigger and bigger wings. Like it's like a credit card.
I don't know.
Like you grow up in.
I've never been there. I can sit here and tell you anything, and that means it's gonna be
I be thinking about stuff like this. Like, don't nobody think about it.
No, you thinking too damn much. Stop thinking.
I be thinking.
You're thinking too much. You think.
And then what you think? That's what I'm saying. When we get to heaven, do people get to like choose their angel outfit?
I know. I've never been there. Nobody else can tell you.
But ain't nobody in church ever talked about this.
No, if they told you that, they'd be lying.
If somebody done died and went to heaven and came back.
No.
Yes, people have like I'm about to Google it, but if you had one of them, let me know what you saw when you was in heaven. What was they wearing?
They can see.
It's like, what shoes do I bring? Do I bring like slides? Do I bring my Jesus sandals? Do I bring my sneakers?
When you die, you won't take none of it. Everything will be here. The only thing going is your spirit and your mind and your soul, and that's it. Nothing else. You won't have any of this. So it won't matter whether you're wearing Prada, whether you're wearing LV, Gucci, none of that will matter. You won't be able to take any of that with you. None of it.
As long as I got edge control, I'll be all right. Because I'm cute, natural. I don't really need too many labels. But if my edge is not laid, I look rough, okay? So, I don't know. Like, do they got beauty supply stores?
But quit acting.
What?
No. There are no beauty supply stores in heaven. Come on now, you're getting way beyond the reality.
But if it's heaven, it got everything you want. And
Sabrina, calm it down. No,
okay.
none of that stuff exists. All right, it doesn't exist.
As long as I can eat whatever I want to eat and not get fat.
You won't be eating nothing.
Oh, because I'm full off the word.
Sabrina, come on, get real.
This is real questions that I think about. Like, do you have to go to church in heaven? Like,
Sabrina,
what do y'all do up there?
You're way off the mark.
I feel like heaven is kind of like a coffee break room. Like you get to chill while your spirit take a break, and then God be like, all right, you've been rested a lot. We got to send you back to earth.
No. Then you're thinking about it wrong.
So you don't think your spirit, like people be like, oh, that's the old soul. You've been here before.
I mean,
I've been here before.
That's probably true, but the spirit is. Do I believe the spirit is recycled? Yeah, but I mean, all that craziness you're talking, no.
What if God only made like 2 billion souls?
Then he only made 2 billion souls.
But we be recycling our souls over and over. Like, what if you lived in your old life? What if you was like an old servant in like Africa?
Then I was. I mean, and nothing I can do about it.
No, it's not nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like maybe you brought things from that past life into this life.
Could have. Very much could have.
Do you feel like reincarnation is in conflict with Christianity?
No. How many good? I mean, no. The answer to that question, no. Reincarnation, I don't think is in conflict with Christianity.
Because I know that's part of, I think Buddhism.
No.
I think Buddhism is like they talk about being reincarnated, or Hindu. I think it's Hinduism, where it's like based on how you act in this life. Say you a good person, when you pass, you'll come back as like a king or a queen or more powerful or have more riches. But if you bad in this life, when you come back, you're gonna be a cockroach. Like, no, I swear, I'm not even being funny. Look up.
Sabrina, I don't know where the hell you getting all your...
I swear, look at like Hinduism. I think it's either Hinduism or Buddhism.
Sabrina, whoever came up with that analogy...
They believe that people come back as trees, bugs, insects.
I don't care.
Snakes, animals.
And I'm glad I don't subscribe to that religion. I mean, because that's crazy. And I wouldn't subscribe to that.
I don't judge nobody's religion, because who's to say who's right and who's wrong?
I don't say nobody is right and what's wrong. I'm saying what works for me.
I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying people in general, when they subscribe to certain religions, everybody feel like, well, my religion is right, but it's like they feel like their religion right too. So who to say who right and who wrong? Like you said, none of us died and went to none of these places. So how we gonna know?
Yeah.
What, and is there more than one truth?
I don't know. The answer to that still remains,
Talk to somebody who know. You don't know nothing enough for me.
No, but and if anybody tells you anything definite, they're lying to you, okay? If anybody tell you, well, there's only one truth, hey, that when you go to heaven, you're going to be able to get in the line, and yes, Sabrina, they do have edge control, you better run like hell from it.
Tell me they got edge control, because if they don't, I'm bringing my own.
Yeah.
I'm going to put me in a casket with my edge control and my edge control brush.
Yeah. And your edge control brush will still be right here where your spirit to be gone.
Okay, well, lay my edges real good and gots to be them so they don't move on my way up to heaven.
Okay. I can't believe you should have been having those type of conversations with yourself.
Yeah.
No, baby. You're wasting your energy and your effort and your time. What you do is get on your knees.
I know I'm going to be prepared.
How?
Because I done thought about everything.
No.
While y'all ain't thinking about it enough, you go get to heaven, ain't gonna be like, damn, I could have brought my clippers. Yes, you could have. Now your lineup is messed up.
No, that
now you can't pull no angel bitches because your lineup is messed up.
No. That's not how that works. You won't be able to take nobody's gonna take their clippers, nobody's gonna be able to take their edge control and all of that crazy thinking and thoughts. Let it go. Quit wasting your energy on that kind of stuff.
Do you think soulmates be together when they in heaven?
I've never been to heaven, so I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Why don't you think about things like this?
Because
what do you be thinking about?
Because I'm not going to allow my mental faculties to get tied up in that nonsense. Now, all of that stuff you're talking and thinking is nonsense. It's crazy. Stop it. Quit wasting your energy on that kind of stuff. And think about stuff that you can control. See, all that stuff is out of your control. You can't control none of that. You wasting so much effort, energy on stuff that you will have no control over.
I still am curious to know.
You might be curious, but understand that curiosity will never be resolved. Because you will never find anybody that can come back and tell you, well, Sabrina, I went to heaven, and guess what? I did see a bunch of angels over there, a bunch of Buddhisms over there, a bunch of Jews over there. No, and if they tell you that, Sabrina, I'm telling you to run. They tell anybody like that, run. Because they're lying.
She gonna be mad. I'm gonna get to heaven and I'll be like, see, that's why I thought about everything. I got everything I need up here, the shoes that I want. I got two pair of shoes.
God will provide. He will provide everything you need anyway.
That's what I'm saying. He might got a beauty supply store.
Sabrina, cut it.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of unanswered questions about heaven and this walk into Christianity. I do believe in Jesus, and I do feel like I think I'm a Christian. I think I'm not like a Bible thumping Christian.
And I think that's okay. I mean, because most of the time the Bible thumping ones are about half damn crazy anyway. You know, in my opinion, you know, they're so there's an old saying about being so heavenly bound that you know earthly good.
Yeah.
You know, and that means that you those are the ones that can quote you every scripture out of the Bible. They can tell you verbatim what every chapter was about, the whole 9 yards, but then they're useless here on earth. You know, I think it's more about your works than anything else. Your faith and your works
And relationship
with God. You know, that's what Christianity or religion to me, or spirituality, I should say, is.
Yeah, because I can't quote all the scriptures. I know what the book of Job about in Proverbs 31. And I know certain stories in the Bible, but I don't know like, oh, this is Ephesians.
No, but see, with a lot of
chapter 6, verse 3.
You can take just about every book in the Bible and you can relate it to every or some life experiences.
Yeah.
And then so you take the way that they handled those experiences then, and it gives you a roadmap to somewhat handle the experiences that you're dealing with or have dealt with, or you're dealing with at that time. So to me, that's what the Bible is about. It's a roadmap to teach us how to get to heaven. You know, how we deal with situation, how we deal with people, and understanding, you know, the facets of different people and the relationships with different people and the different facets of life, you know. So that's what it's about. It's a roadmap, you know, that we often deviate from, you know. And so that in itself helps us grow and build our relationship with God. Now, I think a more interesting question is, you know, what's your thought about people dating someone of a different religion?
I ain't gonna say it could never work, because I seen people do it where it worked, but I think that they have to be a lot more lax in their religion. Like, you can't be like,
Go ahead.
You can't be super strict with your religious views, and think that somebody else gonna follow those religious views in the same household and they don't believe that. Like, of course, it can only work is like, I know people who were raised Muslim. Like, all my friends in Philly, shout out to y'all, no disrespect, but I'd be like, oh, you a Philly Muslim? Because Philly Muslims don't really be strict Muslims. Like, you know what I'm saying? They eat pork when they feel like it.
Really?
Yeah, like
I've never heard of a Muslim eating pork.
Because they don't really be, they were raised Muslim, but once they get grown, they a lot more lax. And they be like, oh, okay, don't tell nobody I ate this, but I ate it. Like, you know what I mean? Or
so they're not true believers in their own religion.
Oh, they believe, but they just don't practice it. Just like Christians, like, we not supposed to have sex before marriage, but we be doing it. Okay. I was raised a Christian, but I still done committed that sin. And
well, you got to understand, the world is a big sin. We all commit.
That's what I'm saying. So as long as you're not like real strict on your practices, and you feel like everybody around you that's got to be practicing the same way, I think it could work.
No, I don't even think it could work in that regard, because I know of a situation. For instance, we've got a relative in our family that are Christian, raised.
One's Christian, one Jehovah Witness.
Supposedly Jehovah Witness.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's Jehovah Witness when it's convenient for him.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, he doesn't, and it still doesn't work, because he's full of shit. You know, at the end of the day, you know, he doesn't celebrate this or he doesn't celebrate that. But when his birthday comes along, He wants a gift. You know, he doesn't celebrate Christmas. Okay, but it's okay if he gets a Christmas gift. You know,
That's what I'm saying.
that's hypocritical.
But that's why I be like them people but you gotta have some type of grace, cause you know if you want that on your birthday and as a Jehovah Witness, that's not what you was taught to be. Then okay, don't throw your Jehovah Witnesses in somebody else's face when they doing something you don't like. Like either you are practicing and following every single rule or you don't.
Right.
You can't be like, well, I don't follow it, but you gotta follow it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It gotta be
or that situation where because I'm a Jehovah Witness, you can't have a Christmas tree in the house. The kids are not.
There's some Christians that believe that though.
Well, I mean that may be so, but don't throw, like you said, don't throw it on your religion. You know, we can't. I don't want no Christmas tree in the house for the kids. Well, you had kids.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are clearly not practicing Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. Hell, he doesn't even practice Jehovah. He goes he started back going since they've been going through some difficult times, but they were not practicing. He wasn't practicing Jehovah.
Right.
The children were not practicing Jehovah. And then, but
Jehovah Witness people be so mean.
well, I mean, that's because maybe that's what Jehovah teaches them to do. I don't know. You know, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot of folks that may be Jehovah that's going to follow us and say, you know.
Well, I'm only speaking for the people that I know, but I had a friend that grew up and she literally wanted to run away from home because like not only the strictness of it, but it was just like how nasty and mean her parents were.
I know somebody who was Jehovah and did run away.
But people who grow up in that always fight with so much.
It
like
strained her relationship with her mother to the point where she didn't talk to her mother or build a relationship. I mean, stayed away from her mother for years because of that Jehovah following. Her mother was really, really into it. And so it caused her some psychological issues.
Yeah.
You know, and I would sit and talk with her and say, you know, look, sis, with her, that's your mom. Regardless, even now you're grown, you don't follow it, you don't practice it, still try to have some type of relationship with your mom. And so she's grown and she now does that, but she still says, look, I'm not going to deal with that. I don't believe in the Jehovah way, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, you have to respect that. But I'm just going back from what I've seen in our family. You know, this cat claiming to be a Jehovah. Now that, you know, they're separating, he's running back to that faith and we wish him well. But the next time he decides to marry somebody, make sure she's Jehovah. She's going to put up with his half-ass Jehovah ways. You know, Jehovah, they're supposed to be so strict and so this, that, and other. And he drank more liquor than anybody I know. He go run to the strip club every time he can get a chance to go to from anybody I know. Wanted to take his whole family there, but yet he's Jehovah. But then he's going to try and keep the kids from having a damn Christmas tree. I think that's crazy.
Are you prepared for Jehovah's return?
Yes, I'm prepared for Jehovah's return.
Because if you not, no, this one, you know,
I'm prepared for Jehovah's return. So in other words, am I living the life that I think he wants me to live? Yes. Am I doing the work that I think he wants me to do? Yes. Do I have a relationship with God the way I should have? Yes.
That was a line from Friday.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. But in reality, yes.
So Jehovah Witnesses are Christian?
No, they're Jehovah Witnesses.
Well, who's Jehovah? Ain't that Christ?
That's their God.
Jehovah Jireh.
They don't believe Jehovah. From my understanding, and you may ask somebody who's Jehovah. They don't believe that Jesus Christ is the Savior.
Who do Jehovah Witnesses believe in?
Yeah, they don't believe they don't believe in the trilogies. From what I'm,
they said Jehovah Witnesses believe that Jesus is God's only begotten Son, and that his life began in heaven. He is described as God's first creation and the exact representation of God, but is believed to be a separate entity and not part of a Trinity.
Right. That's what I was saying. They don't believe in the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The true God, God the Father, whose name is Jehovah. Jesus Christ is his firstborn Son, inferior to God, and was created by God. The Holy Spirit is not a person. It's God active for us.
That's what they believe. But we as Christians have been taught that it's the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
So they don't believe in the Holy Spirit. They don't believe in the Holy Trinity.
Yeah. But that's their belief, and I don't care what they believe. I just believe, look, I believe at the end of the day, and I would say this.
I'd be confused.
But see, that's why you buying into so much of that. Stop buying into that. The only thing that I think is important to buy into is that you have a relationship with there's a spiritual relationship and a connection with the higher being. All that other, who's telling you this, that, and that. If you sit and listen long enough, you buy into any of them. Mm-hmm. You'll find something that you can identify with in any of them. But it's about how you choose to practice that relationship. How you choose to, and that's why you got so many of them.
What if we get to heaven and God like, I ain't create none of these religions.
Well,
I ain't tell y'all do none of this shit.
And guess what?
Y'all did it on y'all own.
And if we get to heaven and he says that, guess what? You won't be able to come back and tell us. Because if anybody that came back and tell you that they got to heaven and they saw him and he said that and he took, they're lying. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to be nowhere around it. I believe that my relationship is sufficient. I know that I can continue to grow it, build on that relationship, and that's what I'm going to do. Everybody else to their own. The Jehovah's, the Jews, the Muslims, the Buddhists, whatever. They can do whatever they want to do and practice any way they choose to practice. But as for me and my house, we choose to serve the Lord.
Speaking of you and your house and we choosing to serve the Lord, when do you decide, or how do you decide what you want to teach your children? And because like I grew up in the church, is that just like, oh, my child gonna grow up in church because I grew up in the church? Like, what do that look like as a parent? Like, how do you implement or introduce your children to religion?
The same way that I introduce you guys. You take them to church, you teach them the basic principles, you explain to them why they're learning those principles, you teach them why it's important to follow certain principles, and you let them grow to develop their own beliefs and their own understanding and their own relationship.
What if as a kid I was like, well, I don't want to believe in this?
Then that's your choice. I can't force anything on you.
You would have still made me go to church.
I would have made you go to church until we were at a point where I had to allow you to make your own decisions, yes.
At what point is that?
When I thought you had the mindset to do. When I thought you were capable of doing. Yeah, it was, for some people it may be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It just depends. When I think you have the mental faculty to make that decision. Each child is very different. Each parent has to, weigh that decision themselves. Figure out, what their child is capable of understanding and comprehending and, go from there. Am I going to call you every day, every Sunday while you're in college? Hey, you get up, you go to church? No. I'm not going to do that.
No, you really didn't. I feel like you didn't make me go every Sunday in high school either.
No, I didn't.
Like as a kid, I went every time you went.
Right.
But I remember points in times in high school where you went to church and I ain't go.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, and that happens. But as a parent, we have to allow our children to become their own person. Hopefully the things that we teach you or we've taught you or parents are teaching their children lays a foundation. You see, I can't tell you every single thing to do or show you how to handle every situation or explain to you every thing in the Bible and how it relates to you. Like some of those things are personal. You're going to have to learn them for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that I had to learn for myself, other than like, of course, Jesus died on the cross for our sin. He rose again and he is risen. Like, we learned that. We learned David slayed Goliath. Like, we learned pivotal stories, but I don't really feel like I learned and I know that you told me like pray and be specific and go to God for this and that. But a lot of it I'm still learning.
Absolutely. And guess what? Guess what, sweetheart? We all are.
I need the answer.
No. You're not going to get the cheat sheet to that quiz. No, ma'am. It's life. It's called life. We are all still learning.
Stressful.
And you got to decompress and step back and stop and take it 1 minute at a time.
So now,
an hour at a time.
Speaking of taking it like one step at a time and building that relationship, like right now on social media, there's this wave of spirituality that's growing like a wildfire. And I don't know what it is about this time. I think for me, it happened 2019. A lot of people, that's when I felt like I had my awakening and my first like wanting and yearning to be closer to God was in 2019. And then the pandemic happened, and then it was just me and God alone because I was living alone. I ain't had nobody else during the pandemic in the house with me. But I think a lot of people started to begin waking up on their spiritual journey during the pandemic because so much was going on. But now, even fast forward to 2023, you see a lot of influencers and people in the industry or just being more open and vocal about their relationship with God and wanting to be closer and growing in spirituality. And I think it's because of a lot of different reasons, but also because of like in numerology, this is a year 7, and year 7 is the completion. And it says that in that cycle, when every time we come to a year 7, it'll be a great awakening of people's spirituality. But how do you feel about people who kind of like capitalize on their spirituality financially?
People have been capitalizing on spirituality for a long time. It's just that they've gone from the pulpits to social media. I mean, it's been happening for years. Look at, the
You
Reverend
think the
Ike,
people gonna go to hell?
the Reverend Jim. I can't say whether people going anywhere.
I want to know where we going. Okay.
I don't know who's going where. I just know, back when I was coming up, you had the Jim Joneses, you had the Reverend Ikes, you had other people like
Jim
that.
Jones.
Yeah, all these people that were following him and in that time, you had people that were,
Jim Jones, the rapper?
no, that was a preacher. This guy that was, had all these people following him, and they committed suicide and all this stuff. I mean, their people have been capitalizing on religion for years.
Let me find out Jim Jones and Mama, whatever his mama name was, is out here got a church and a cult.
No. There have been people that have been capitalizing on religion for years and years and years and years. I mean, they've been getting with. Look at what's the preacher's name? Faye and Tammy Baker. What's his name? Tammy. Whatever his name, Baker. The Baker. They had a mega church. I mean, people have been doing this for years, sweetheart.
I
mean, I don't
special place in hell for people like that.
Maybe. I don't know. I ain't never been down there. Can't tell you. They ain't never been back to tell you either.
They in that pool of milk.
They may be in that pool of milk, but people have been capitalized. It's just that they've gone from the pulpit to the brick and mortar churches to social media. That's it. I mean, and I'm not saying that there are some situations where I think that people are genuine about what they're preaching and what they're trying to teach. And then some situations, there've been people who just capitalize on it just for the financial gain. I mean, they figured it out. There are con artists in every aspect of the world.
Yeah.
And yes, there are con artists when it comes to
religion.
the religion.
But I do think that just because you are a preacher or you have decided to grow in spirituality, I don't feel like that means you can't have nice things or you can't like live a luxurious life.
Because they'd be the first one to tell you that God wanted me to have and have abundantly.
Yeah.
God, why?
I believe that though. Why would God want you to be poor if you're working for him?
Right. I mean, so
just don't be deceitful or manipulative or taking advantage of people.
I agree.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't got the answers away, so
yeah, I agree.
No. But what about there are people online now that are upset at influencers or people who are on this religious walk, right? So I'm not going to say nobody's name, but there have been influencers that came out and like, oh, I'm giving my life to Christ and I want to change my life and I want to walk this path. But then they'll, obviously on social media, we show everything and we are transparent about what we do. If you're a real influencer, you show different parts of your life. This person showed them going on vacay and shopping or them drinking wine. And then they got backlash from people saying, you said you gave your life to Christ.
But what does giving your life to Christ mean? And some people think that, when you give your life to Christ, you can't have fun, you can't go shopping, you can't have nice things. That's bullshit. That's just bullshit. I just think that that's crazy. I've given my life to Christ. God, I mean, everything I do, I ask for God's guidance. I don't want it if he doesn't send it. I ask God to lead and guide me, and sometimes every time that I try to do things on my own or allow things to be done or don't, and when God's not in the midst of it, it goes to hell in a handbasket, and people
With gasoline draws on.
probably. And then when people come in my life that are not Christ-like or we're not on that same religious frequency, it shows because they've done fucked up shit to me. They've treated me a certain way and they've manipulated me. They've taken advantage of me because guess what? That person that was in my life was not on the same frequency with me. We were not Christ-like. I'm talking about just basic friends. I'm not talking about relationship. I'm talking about friends of mine that have done things that have done me wrong. They were not on Christ. We couldn't have been on the same frequency because if it was, then that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So you can give your life to Christ and things still happen. You can give your life to Christ and still have the finer things in life. You ain't got to be poor and downtrodden to have given your life to Christ.
Right.
That don't mean because I've given my life to Christ, I can't drive a Rolls Royce. That don't mean because I've given my life to Christ, I can't wear diamonds. That don't mean
I was about to say, because Jesus want me to shine. I don't know about you, but he told me that.
Just because I've given my life to Christ doesn't mean I can't live in a mansion. Just because I've given my life to Christ mean I can't use it, go to the finer steakhouse. Just because you're giving your life to Christ doesn't mean I can't shop at LV or Gucci or Prada or Versace. Just because I've given my life to Christ doesn't mean, I can't enjoy some of the things of the world that I want to enjoy. I can't have a yacht or I can't have jet skis. I mean, come on, who says that?
Yeah.
Because I've given my life to Christ and I've done what he wanted me to do and I've walked in the way he wanted me to walk, he's blessed me with these things. Why can't that be the scenario?
Yeah.
I've given my life to Christ and I prayed for these things and I've asked God for these things. I've asked for his guidance and he's blessed me with these things.
And we're going to get to heaven and he's going to be like, all them people who didn't think they could have none of that. I didn't say you couldn't have that.
Right. He's
wasted your whole life.
He's blessed you with these things. I mean, why can't it be a blessing? That I can go to the bank and pull out X amount of dollars and go shopping or go do whatever. Why can't that be a blessing from him?
Going shopping sure would be a blessing to me.
I know it would be, girl. Just keep praying. Just keep praying. Just hold on.
I think I want to get baptized. You gonna come to my baptism?
Absolutely. I'm gonna be there. That's a milestone. Absolutely.
I think I want to give my life to Christ again. Like I've been baptized.
I don't think you've ever not given your life to Christ. I just think that you want to be.
No, I ain't had no relationship. Like I have been baptized.
You want to be baptized, but now that you're grown, you want to reestablish
a relationship with him.
Grown woman relationship with him. And I think you've always had it, but I just think that now that you're trying to fine tune it.
Yeah, like I had steered away from God a little bit. Like I didn't have a strong relationship, but then I had refound God in a strip club, and Jesus was in a pile of money, and he had fell off a nigga chain. I swear to God, this was eye opener for me.
You were so retarded.
No, I'm saying I was cleaning up one night, and it was a pile of money, and I went through, and it was a Jesus it was a Jesus piece, and he had fell off a nigga chain, and I was like, oh my God, this is living proof that God be everywhere. They say that Jesus not. For me, at that moment I knew, you be everywhere. He was in this dirty club in the Parliament. I picked him up and I put him in my pouch, and I had Jesus with me from that moment on, because I knew, like, okay,
you had a symbol of what you
was a fake
identified at Jesus. But that's okay. If that got you back to think
that was my first,
that got you, and that's okay. But it's
because
crazy.
I really felt that Jesus couldn't. I know this gonna sound dumb, but I really felt like he wasn't thinking about us in that space. Like, you know how like you in a hidden space, like a crack or a crevice where God ain't there because it's too dark.
No, God is everywhere. See that you had a crazy sense of thinking. you were all in your head, and you need to get out of your head.
I know some people out there that have been in some places where you feel like God don't see you, or God has forgotten about you, or God ain't looking, or he's not in the space that you are.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. You got to remember that was a reminder to me that he is everywhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Even when I don't feel like he is.
Yes, I can buy that. I can buy that. Yes, God is everywhere.
Don't judge me, because
I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I mean, God, you found God where you say you found him, but whatever it took.
I found God in the strip.
That's okay. Whatever it took for you to go back to that relationship is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes us to go, you see people, you talk about people being at their lowest of their lowest. And that's when God uses them the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. We're all entitled to go there. We've all been there. They're calling what I was attending a service, my pastor's service not too long ago, a week before last, and he had a guest preacher there. Those that may have been there, Dreyfus Smith, and Dreyfus Smith preached about having a chapter 22 moment. You go in your life, you have been coming out of a chapter 21 moment, a Genesis 21. Having lived the Genesis 21 moment, and now you're going into chapter 22 moment. So, it's.
I don't know these chapters. I have to go back and read.
Yeah, but go back and read it sometime, and it talks about how when Abraham was about to make this sacrifice of his only son, but he really had two. One was born out of lust, and one was born out of love. So Abraham was about to go make this sacrifice of his son that was born out of love. And he told the disciples, he gathered, he went, he was going to go, he thought that the sacrifice was going to be that he was going to kill his son and, give him over to God. And that wasn't the purpose. It was just him to make sure that he was willing to do what God told him to do. But it was a very deep message. And, when you think about it, you go through it, and, and he said to the disciples, well, the people that went with him, that, hey, he'll be back. We will be back. But yet he was going to slay his son. But it was a very powerful message. But anyway, the point I was making is we all go through those low points in our lives, not understanding what we're doing, our purpose, and not understanding why we're going through certain things, not understanding any of that, but to know that it's those times that God uses us and directs us most.
Yeah.
He leads us and guides us, and we're able to do what he wants us to do. Though that's the message, to just to know that, you may not know, you may not understand, you may not ever have the clue as to why you're going through certain things. But as long as you keep holding on, keep trusting and believing, and having that faith in God, that everything's gonna work out.
God ever told you to do something and you was like, no, or like fought back?
Yeah, we do it all the time because we're human. We think that, he's telling us to do something, we don't do it. And then when we don't do it, it's like, wow, we were disobedient. But he still loves us.
I feel like, God, just make me do it.
No, he loves us.
Don't ask me to do it. Just make me do it. You know I'm lazy. You know I'm hard-headed. You know I'm a rebel. You know I got too much money.
But what?
Move me for me.
But why did you want to go through those hard times?
I don't want to. I'm just naturally that person.
Well, then
so get me out of my own way, God, and you just do it. Make me do it.
Well, a lot of times he will. And then you got to believe that he's doing it. But you got to stop being so stubborn and be more willing.
I am trying to be willing, like I'm willing to do this, but sometimes that's what I'm saying. And I be struggling with the knowing whether that's me or if that's God. I just need clarity.
Well, he'll give you clarity. You pray for clarity. You just got to pray for clarity and understand that he's going to move when he's ready to move. Y'all millennials want, you're in that I want now and I got to have now.
Microwave. They should have never made microwaves. We've been fucked up ever since microwave.
Y'all think everything's supposed to happen in your time. It ain't your time.
Well, I set the timer to 1:30.
God doesn't move in your time. Mm-hmm. He moves in his time.
Well, if you want me to move out, not if, I want to move in God's time. I just need to know what the time
He's not going to tell you when it's time. You know, I heard somebody say, you know, anytime you pray to God for something, he writes it down, he puts it in the envelope, and he mails it to you. You just don't know when that delivery's going to come. You got to be patient and just have faith that it's coming.
Well, the way this USPS be working, honey, I might not get my mail. I got my mail the other day, and it was already open. I hope that whoever handling the mail from heaven ain't opening up my blessings before I get them.
No, you just gotta wait.
Somebody is tampering with the mail system.
You just gotta wait and be patient and know that it's coming. In God's time, it's coming. Not your will, but thy will. And you just gotta be patient and hold on. You just gotta know that it's coming. God's going to give you what you ask for. As long as you got the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say, mountains, be thou removed.
And I be waiting like, who is going to come move this mountain? When is it coming? Damn, they said they was going to do. It's like God kind of working like Comcast. You know how they give you that window, like when you have service done, and they be giving you that window, like we may come to your home between 12 and 5, and then they get there at 7:30. It's like, where is the window?
God's not even going to give you a window. He's not even going to give you Comcast time. He ain't coming till it's his time. And he ain't going to tell you when it's his time.
But his timing is perfect, so I'm working on.
That's right. His timing is perfect.
I'm working on my patience.
That's it. That's something I truly continue to work on, is my patience.
I think I don't have patience because you don't have patience.
Okay, blame it on me.
No, it gives me anxiety.
Blame it on me.
It's your fault. I got that from you.
Blame it on me. I take it. You got a whole lot of things from me. Blame it on me. I'll take it. Because I know that I've got to work on my patience. I have very, very little patience for bullshit. I continue to work on that. You know, that's all. Let me tell you something. In all of us, every last one of us, no matter how good we think we are, no matter how on fire we think we are, no matter how much we think we've arrived, no matter how successful we think we are, no matter how good we are, no matter what the scenario is, there's always room for improvement. Always room. So there's no perfect. Show me somebody perfect and I'll show you Jesus Christ. Show me a perfect scenario and I'll show you Jesus Christ. There's always room for improvement.
That's real.
And don't ever forget that. So I'm going to continue to wait on the Lord, even in the midst of all of my troubles, even in the midst of my lowest, when I think I can't be broken no more, when I think, and I've been at some of those points in my life, even recently, even now, I feel that I'm coming out of it. Even now, as I sit here today, you know, I'm coming out of some very dark times in my life. But see, God has sent me signs along the way to show me that the corner is turning. I'm coming out of it. And I'm not to say that if I come out of this corner, this dark time, there won't be others. And there very well may be others. But I'm going to continue to hold on. I'm going to continue to believe. And I'm going to continue to have faith and trust that he's going to bring me out of it. And when he brings me out of it, it's going to be better than anything I could have ever imagined.
I believe that.
Every time that I've been knocked down and kicked down and people have abused me and taken from me, you know, even in my personal life, even to my business aspect, you know, people have taken from me. I'm going through situations, well, I've gone through situations because I've removed myself from my previous business venture. But, you know, what people have taken from me, all because of, you know, allegations. People have taken, you know, companies, people in certain positions have done things to me and my business they had no reason to do it. I've lost. You wouldn't imagine how much, you know, financially and the harm that I've encountered. But guess what? I'm still here. Guess what? I'm going to survive. And guess what? I'm going to thrive. I'm going to continue to thrive. And I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. They can't stop. People can't stop you. That old saying, what God has for you, so they may think that they can, you know, sidetrack that blessing. They may think that they can, prevent you from getting ahead because they've taken certain things from you, they can't stop God. Because when they think they've done something here on this street, he's preparing another street. And you don't even know he's preparing that street. Next thing you know, he sends a blessing this direction. You go back and say, oh my God, is that why you did this? He allows certain tragedies to happen to you in your life because he's preparing you for a bigger blessing. You stuck right here thinking that this was the all and be all and end all. And then when he takes it away, you say, okay, now God, why you take that away? That was great. That was what, my all and my be all. And then you realize if he didn't take it away, you wouldn't have the focus you need for this bigger blessing he's going to send you.
Yeah.
So you see, I learned in life that I'm not trying to figure out his method, his means and his method, as they say in the construction world. I'm not trying to figure out God's means and methods. I'm not trying to figure out. I'm just going to continue to walk on the path that he's chosen for me to walk, and know without a doubt that that's the best path for me, that his hand is in it, and therefore it will be better and greater than anything I could imagine. So when they throw rocks and stones at me and say and try to drag me through the mud and do all these things, that's okay. I'm still here. I'm standing. Guess what? Hey, Mr. B. You see, when God allows things to happen in your life, to others on the outside, it may look one way. But when God is in control, when he's in control, he's not going to allow certain things to happen to you. So what? They take your money. You still eat, don't you? You still got a roof over your head. You still surviving. You're still thriving. So what? They take it. Let them take it. Let them have it. Because when he gives it back to me, I'm going to get 10 times more than what they took. When your friends come against you and they say things and, let those friends go. Because guess what? He's going to put better friends in your life who's going to be more significant to you than those were. When you run across people and you got these crabs in the barrels, and every time you turn around, somebody's throwing salt at your name, somebody trying to dig a ditch for you. But guess what? They steady falling in them ditches. It's okay. It is all right. Because no matter what they do, no matter what they say, I believe that no weapon formed against me is going to prosper.
Well, it sounds like you're going to the VIP section of heaven.
I don't care if I'm you can put me in the crowd. You can put me in the.
I don't do general pop, guys.
Dude, hey.
And I don't wait in lines.
I don't care. Put me in the general pop. Put me at the back of the line just so I'm in the number, baby.
Okay.
Just so I'm in the number. I don't care. So I say to anybody out there who's struggling or who's trying to figure it out, who don't know, all I tell you to do is fall. I fall on my knees regularly, y'all. And sometimes when I'm falling on my knees, I even shed a tear. I even cry while I'm praying. Because at the end of the day, no matter what I'm going through.
That was me in church yesterday.
Yet will I trust him. I got a friend of mine that I call all the time and we talk every day. And, and she reminds me, and we remind each other. No matter what life hits me with, yet will I trust him. No matter what I'm going through, yet will I trust him. No matter what you're going through in life, yet trust him. Because his reward is better than anything man can do or say. No matter what man do or say, no matter what life throws at you, trust in the Lord. That goes back to having that relationship with God. Having that faith. And that doesn't mean that God didn't promise me that life was going to be a bed of roses. He just promised me that he would never leave me nor forsake me while I'm going through it.
Okay, Pastor Renee. Well, thank you for that word and that sermon.
I'm not giving you a sermon. I'm just giving you the basics principle of how I live my life and what my relationship and my faith in God is about. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's something I lean on every day. Day after day after day, no matter what struggles, no matter what financial obstacles, no matter what, business struggle I'm going through, God will provide. He'll close one door will open, and Lord, he'll open up this big old window, twice the size of that door. You know, they come at me. They think they got me down. They think, you know, and some people you encounter in life will actually get joy from thinking that they're hurting you. They actually get joy from thinking that they're doing something that's going to disrupt your life or going to cause you pain.
I feel like you ain't hurting me, you hurting yourself, because I'm a child of God, and all that karma is coming right back
Absolutely. So that's why I live my life in a way.
Your own grave.
I am not going to do anything to intentionally hurt or cause anybody any harm. Because see now, karma just doesn't always come back at you. You know how we stand on the prayers of our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and our forefathers? You see, karma operates the same way. So all the misdeeds that, you know, you seeking out to do to somebody else, well, you ain't got to necessarily worry about that misdeed coming back to you. But you got kids and you got grandkids, and they're going to have kids and grandkids, and it goes on and on and on.
How you think you could break that? Because I don't think that's right.
How you
like? I think it's true. I don't think it's fair. Is what I'm saying.
Well, guess what?
Because I didn't do what she did. Like, my great grandma did some messed up stuff. That's her evil shit.
Yeah, but
I'm a good person.
Well, how you break it, and my belief is that we have to stop and live the right life. We have to stop and do what's right to each other, for each other as human beings. We've got to be good, basic, solid human beings.
What if I'm this good of a person because my great grandma was fucked up?
I would never know.
Like what if I have to break that curse or that karma?
And then maybe you are. Maybe we are breaking the curse of karma by trying to live the best life that we know how, to live a God-fearing life. Maybe we are. And if we continue to do that, preach that, and at some point we'll, you know, we're not perpetuating that karma.
Yeah. Well, hopefully God forgive my ancestors for all their trespasses. Don't trespass against me.
See, that's a Bible verse, and that means something.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's what we have to do in life, is just to try to live the best life we can and to foster our relationship with God, whatever that looks like.
And everybody else out there got to do that too. We can't tell you what to believe in, who to believe in, how to do it, but what worked for us. Let's just jump right into I want to know. What you want to know? I want to know, if you don't know, it's the part of the episode where I asked her what I want to know. She asked me what she want to know. We got to be completely honest, transparent, and open. So what you want to know?
What do you think what's been one of your most significant teachings from another relative, whether good or bad? Not necessarily from me, but something you think that you've learned from another relative that you think that you will always take with you.
It's stuff that my grandma said, like, it's two things. Granny always told me, when you have a child, that's your child, and that's not that man's responsibility. Like, it is that man's responsibility, but at the ultimate end of the day, that is your child. And if you're not 100% ready to take on that responsibility by yourself, then
if it comes to that.
Yeah, if it comes to that, then you don't need to be a mama. And I think that has kept me from thinking I'm ready, because I'd be like, I need help. So if you're not going to help, I can't do this. I think that's something I always hear my grandma's voice when it comes to children in my head about that. And Buzzo always used to like, everybody not your friend. I remember when I was little and somebody stole Buzzo's driver's license and got a ticket in his name or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, I just remember from there, that incident, he always preached to me like, be careful, stop being.
And that was somebody that he grew up with as a friend. Matter of fact, we shared the same last name. It was just spelled differently, pronounced slightly different. But this was a childhood friend that they grew up through thick and thin. He had been there for this friend. He allowed this friend to live in his house. You know, he treated this guy like they were brothers. And this joker goes and gets stopped and gets a ticket in his name. Now, once he got the ticket, you would think that he had the decency to pay for it and take care of it. No, he didn't. So when Lonzo got stopped one day by the police, Lord and behold, there's a warrant out for Lonzo for something that he had not a clue of. Luckily, the police officer had it all on videotape. So when when they went to court, the police officer came in and told the judge, hey, look, that's not the guy that I stopped. And they showed Von who the guy was. Von knew exactly who the guy was. And he was able to tell him. So as close as they were as friends, like he said, everybody wasn't his true friend. And that's true in life. Everybody's not your friend. There's a situation that I've got where I thought this person was my representative and my friend, and they did some shady shit to me, and then flipped the script. As if, now that they're trying to save themselves, now say, hey, that wasn't the case. So you learn these lessons in life,
I just hope that I don't have to learn them in a hard way.
Well, we all do, but sometimes it happens.
Like how you and Buzzo had to learn that the people wasn't your friend, and it really did damage.
Yeah.
I hope I don't have to go through that.
Yeah. So just be mindful.
What do I want to know? I want to know, what do you think you have to do differently or work on in your walk with God?
Oh, a lot. I'm a work in progress.
Besides your patience, because we clearly know that.
Yeah, I've got to work on my patience. And I still have to continue to increase my faith. See, because it's easy to have faith when everything is going good.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to give God praise when things are good.
When the blessings roll.
When the blessings are flowing. It's when you're down in the dark and in your deepest, your lowest point, and you know that God has you, but you've got to I have to increase my faith to know no matter what, he still has me. Sometimes when the weight of the world is so heavy on your shoulders, it gets hard. And I'm speaking from experience. It gets hard to continue to say and know and believe that, God has you. Because then you get weary and you begin to say, God, why have thou forsaken me, in a sense, So increasing my faith is an ever lasting journey. And it's going to continue to be that way. And I don't think that there's ever a perfection point. I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I say, okay, now I've mastered it. No, I just think it's a continuing journey.
Well, I think we all on that journey. And I think that's what this episode has been about, is going on that spiritual journey and what that look like. And, all the questions I got, I was just thinking, like, I know this is random, but I feel like, what if you get in heaven and they got like a credit card system where it's like based on your good deeds, and your credit score is based on like how much good you did? And so some people got low credit limits. So my credit limit high. Or they got like Starbucks and stuff with everything free.
See that, you know what? You.
Oh my God, is it vegans in heaven?
See, there you go. I think that you.
Or are we all vegan because eating animals is bad?
Yeah, but Sabrina, I think that you put. I think you're putting too much into that.
Basically, it's a lot of moral questions that I have that are still left unanswered.
Those questions.
Drop some of your questions below. I know y'all.
Those questions will always be unanswered.
Because ain't nobody been to heaven.
Ain't nobody been to heaven and been able to come back and tell you. And if they go back, if anybody come tell you, yes, Sabrina, they're vegans in heaven, run. Well, hang up the phone, run. If
God come to me in my dream and tell me,
y'all don't even think you'll have a desire for food once you get to heaven.
Because you full off the bread of the word. Because the word is your daily bread. So we are vegans.
Sabrina.
If we only eating bread.
Sabrina.
But is it gluten-free?
It's Sabrina.
See, it's always somewhere we could go with this. Thank you for watching this episode of Mommy and Me. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you comment and sharing these videos with other people.
My duty as a parent and my continued teaching is never done, because you still got some learning to do. You really do.
You got some learning to do because you don't know the answers either, Sway.
Yeah.
All right, until next time, y'all. We out.
That's Brii Renee, and I'm the original Miss Renee from the A.
Whatever. Bye, y'all.